This is the Retirement Bullpen with Richard Warner. The team at Warner Financial Solutions want to help you feel confident about your retirement, no matter where you stand. Get more at warnerfinancialsolutions.com. Now, the Retirement Bullpen.
All right, get off the bench, everybody. Welcome back. We're in the Retirement Bullpen here, and you know, if you're in that retirement time of life, there's really no time to waste, okay, as far as planning for your retirement. And that's why we have longtime baseball coach and even longer in financial services. He's a retirement certified income professional, and he's a founder, of course, of Warner Financial Solutions. Richard Warner, he's back in the bullpen with us. How you doing, Richard?
Doing great, Doug. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really well, thank you, especially because right before the call, you were helping me with my EFIS pitch. I've been working on that, you know, the nice 35-mile-an-hour loop there, and it's never looked better. So thank you for helping me with my EFIS pitch.
Everybody needs work in certain areas, sir.
I never knew. I never knew that my EFIS pitch could be solved virtually. Okay, so that's and you offer, by the way, cheesy segue, you offer meetings, whether they're in person, on the phone, or virtual, through warnerfinancialsolutions.com. We encourage anyone that's approaching that stage of life to go ahead and get that meeting set up with Richard and his team there, and subscribe to the newsletter and this podcast too, which is available on Apple and Spotify. Last episode, Richard, we talked about when to draw Social Security. Today, we're going to talk about Medicare and open enrollment. We're right in the thick of that season, but beforehand, open enrollment also means at some point that we're talking fall ball, whether it's you coaching high schoolers, or fall ball, whether it's our baseball teams in the MLB playoffs. And unfortunately, Richard, ours didn't do so well.
No. My Kansas City Royals did a little better than I thought. They beat Baltimore, but they did not do so well against the Yankees. So my rooting interests are done. As far as high school baseball goes, we do some things, in September, maybe early October. Mostly we are slowing way down because a lot of the kids are playing other sports, and the last thing I want to do is burn them all out and wear them all out. So they need some downtime, and I need some downtime too. I need to work at some point versus just going to the baseball field all the time. So no, it's not that. True. It's not that bad. Some days it feels like it though, but
well, sure. If you work, 8, 10, however many hours in the office there at Warner Financial Solutions, then you got to go do a practice right after that, and you're not getting home till after normal dinner time, and then you got to wake dark and early the next day.
Yeah. But it's fun. It's all fun. So
working with the younger generation is extremely rewarding, no doubt. My Atlanta Braves, they at least the Royals got to the division series. The Braves whiffed, went 0-2 in the wild card and lost there and lost to the Padres, who then lost to the Mets, and are now in the NLCS, by the way. As we record this, they are. I think by the time y'all hear this, the World Series would have been over. But I paid attention to scores and highlights, but I haven't sat down and watched many games after my Braves were losing because I dedicated about 164 games or so. I mean, I watch Braves all the time. And when it gets to the postseason, even though the stakes are high, I just am like, this 3 hours, I can catch up on something else. Is it the same for you, or do you dig into the other teams?
It depends. If I can find a rooting interest. So the only potential rooting interest I have is it's been so long since the Dodgers have won a World Series. If the Dodgers actually make it, they beat the Mets and make it to the World Series, I'm going to be rooting for them against the Yankees, specifically because the Yankees beat my Royals. But other than that, I probably won't watch a lot of it. I might watch a bit here and there if it's on and it's convenient. But yeah, it's college football season too right now, so there's some time going into that. Then it's just nice to have free time. And the weather's beautiful right now. It's my favorite time of year for weather. So the fall it's a great time of year. So
it's before the snow begins in Nebraska, right? So enjoy it while we can still see the ground. Okay,
or just really, really cold with wind. We may not get snow, just maybe really, really cold with wind too.
Oh yeah, no, that does not sound appealing to me, and I don't even like when it gets below 60 degrees here at Fahrenheit in Atlanta. So that's
a warm day. That's a warm day in Nebraska in the winter. We're like out in shorts and t-shirts.
No, I'm fine with it. Yeah. With the height of winter, you're like, oh my gosh, it's 60. I'm saying I don't even like getting below that. I like keeping it nice and toasty there. And by the way, the Dodgers did win the World Series in 2020, but for all the years they've been in the playoffs.
Oh, did they really?
They did.
Holy cow.
We all
I
forgot
missed that one.
2020.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
they beat
Okay.
the Rays.
Thank you for correcting me on that.
They
But
beat the
wow.
Rays. I got to watch that in Hawaii. That was fun. I was on my delayed honeymoon right as Hawaii opened
I
up.
was thinking they had not won a World Series since they beat Oakland in that surprising one way back in, I think,
in
1989
'88
or something, like 88. Yeah, 89,
Yeah.
something back there. Wow.
They had broke the streak then, but for all the years that they've been just a titan, and almost every year since they started in the you would think they'd have more to show for it, much like the Braves of the '90s, by the way. So yes, on that note, let's switch gears into Medicare and open enrollment. And look, we got to laugh at ourselves a little bit sometimes, right? And comedian Andy Huggins, we've used this with permission from him, by the way. Comedian Andy Huggins definitely toes into laughing at the aging process. So let's do that before we get down to brass tacks.
It's tough getting older. Went into an antique store, they wouldn't let me leave. I tried using that face aging app. They said, nah, you're good. I went to the doctor because I thought I had arthritis. I don't. I have early onset rigor mortis.
You and me both.
I joined a dating site for people my age called Carbon Dating. I asked a woman on the site for her number. She told me it was 140/95.
There you go. She and stuff. Both Andy Huggins might need some Medicare attention there, okay, in this open enrollment season there. But we got to laugh a little bit about it because the calendar is undefeated, Richard. But that doesn't mean you give up and just let things go. We talked all about Social Security benchmarks and strategies in the last episode. There is so much complicated to unpack here in Medicare and open enrollment. What are some basic things that people should be looking out for, and how can you and your team, Richard, at Warner Financial Solutions help get them through it?
Okay, so yeah, we do help a lot of people with Medicare. And right now, actually a couple of days ago, began what's called Medicare's annual enrollment period. You've probably seen the commercials on TV. You've probably seen the mail. You might even be getting bombarded with phone calls. Supposedly there's some rules around all that stuff, but for whatever reason, the phone calls still happen to folks like you. And just be aware, you're going to want to work with somebody that you know and trust. Don't ever, ever, ever switch something over the phone. I've had a lot of clients do that accidentally and find out 3 months later they didn't do what they thought they did. So first rule, don't do something over the phone with somebody you don't know. Now, if you know them and you've worked with them, that's a different situation. But if it's just some random 800 number that's calling you that wants to sell you this or that, don't do something over the phone. Now, during this annual election period, there's two major things you can change. Number one, and probably the most common we run into, is the Part D plan, D for drug. So each year between October 15th and December 7th, individuals can change their drug plan, which has a start date of January 1st. I get from a lot of my clients, hey, I love the plan I have. I just want to keep it. Well, the plan you have, and this is key to understand, was this year's plan. It was 2024's plan. It might be the same stuff or close to the same stuff next year. It might be dramatically different. Dramatically. Premiums could go up and you don't know it unless you read through the material they send you. Copays is one that changes a lot. The copay you pay when you go into your pharmacy. Your pharmacy may even change the type of contract they have with that drug plan. All these things can affect what you pay in 2025 for your medications. So it only takes 5-10 minutes to talk to somebody you know or trust to review that drug plan and make sure it's the right one for next year. Okay. That is something you definitely want to do. Second thing is Medicare Advantage, also known as Medicare Part C. This is a time of the year when you can make changes to that. These are privately held insurance companies offer these plans. They're facilitated by Medicare. They have to follow rules by Medicare. But essentially, a company is going to take care of your bills, and Medicare pays them a stipend. Now, they add a lot of benefits to you. They include your drug plan, typically other benefits like gym memberships, things like this. This is where people can sometimes get themselves into trouble, is they see an ad, they call a number, they switch to a plan, and they don't understand all the pros and cons. Medicare Advantage plans can be a very good fit for individuals, but they can also be a problem. You're going to have a cost sharing when you have a Medicare Advantage plan. And what I mean by cost sharing is you may have a plan now that when you go to the doctor or hospital, as long as they take Medicare, everything is covered. You don't pay anything except the premiums. Well, what entices people is that zero premium this time of year. I want to switch to a zero premium plan. And they might be paying $200 or $300 a month for their supplement right now, and they can save that money. What they don't realize is by changing to that plan, they go to the doctor in January, all of a sudden now they have a copay. They go to the hospital in February, they have a much bigger copay, and now they're there 3 or 4 days, and that copay is $300 or $400 or $500 per day for each day. So now they went from paying nothing in that situation to $1,200, $1,500. So it's not a bad system, but you just have to make sure you understand what you're getting into. So a lot of times it makes a lot of sense for somebody to make that switch, but you want to deal with somebody you know and trust that's making that recommendation to you versus somebody over the phone that's just trying to sell you something because they need to make a commission.
Well, that's a great point. So, all right, when I think of financial advisors or retirement, certified income professionals like yourself, I don't think about medical, even though those involve costs and finances. So is this something where a client for Warner Financial Solutions can call you up and say, hey, I'm posed with these decisions and you can help walk them through it? Is that something or is that something that when you say someone they know and trust, they need to get in touch with a specific point of contact at, quote, Medicare or at an insurance company?
So we help our clients with the Medicare decision as well. Probably, I don't even want to gather the guess of how many of our percentage of clients came that route, but we meet a lot of our clients because they are nearing retirement and they're trying to figure out what to do with the healthcare side. The healthcare side can be one of the biggest expenses potentially you have in retirement. Let's be honest here. I mean, I'm not to Medicare yet, but I can see I'm going to hit 50 next summer. I can see that each year.
You look 30, man. So you keep doing what you're doing. You might never have to cash in any of those medical bills, buddy. Okay.
But each year I get a little older, you start feeling this and that. And, obviously I'm talking to people in the Medicare age group and they're telling me, yeah, it keeps piling on. Well, our bodies aren't made to last forever. Right. And so they're going to start wearing down and you're going to potentially need more health care than you ever did in your whole life in your retirement years. So when you are nearing that age of 65, okay, that's when people get bombarded. That's your open enrollment period, around 65. You can defer that if you're still working, but you've got some decisions you need to make. Do I keep my group plan? Do I switch to Medicare? If you are retiring, can you retire and what's that going to look like? How do I enroll? We take and walk we walk a couple through that entire process of what's the best plan? How do I enroll? How does it work? What are my projected costs going to be? And so, yes, Doug, to answer your question, that is definitely something that we help people with.
Well, that is a big thing to know because my eyes just gloss over anytime I see anything to do with my medical benefits. I just recently in the last few weeks started this job here at the Impact Partnership and get us on, being able to help you and people like you out, Richard. And when I got the benefits back, I'm like, oh my God. I was like, you know what? We're just gonna continue with my wife's benefits. Never mind, because it's just so much to consider and so many things. There's spending accounts and all this different stuff. And one last question about this: is there a certain tax implication depending on what you choose or not? I really don't know. Is there, if you choose a more, quote, Cadillac package, does that open up certain doors where it makes it seem like you have more or less income?
No, the only place taxes can affect you with Medicare is most people pay a standard premium for Medicare Part B. So this is something a lot of people don't realize. They think Medicare is for free because they pay taxes their whole life. Well, Medicare Part A is free, but Medicare Part B, which does most of it, costs you. And if you're drawing Social Security, it comes right out of your Social Security check. If you're not, they're going to bill you for it till you do turn on Social Security. But that premium can be affected by your income. So if you make too much money, that premium could be as much as quadruple.
Oh.
So it's not necessarily a tax implication, but your tax situation can affect your Medicare premiums. And something simple like we sold some farmland this year, or we sold a house and it bumped our income that particular year can create an issue where you're going to pay more premiums. And the one thing that you've got to be aware of when your premium gets bumped because of that is Medicare deems you guilty until proven innocent. So you got to go through this process called an IRMA appeal, IRMA. And that really is something that proves that your income is what it is now and that you can go back to a normal. This is something that we can help you with if you're in that situation. Most people pay a standard rate, but once in a while you run into somebody because of this circumstance or that circumstance is paying a higher premium, and sometimes they can get out of that.
I see. Wow. And I'm sure you can also coach people too, what income they're drawing from in retirement to make sure that doesn't set off those triggers too, by the different buckets of money that you're starting to do, whether it's RMDs or whichever. So there's so many variables here. That's why you need to get with Richard Warner and his team, WarnerFinancialSolutions.com. Schedule the meeting. Be sure and subscribe for the newsletter and the podcast as well, too, so you know when all of this new information is coming out. In past episodes, just recently, we've talked about the election, retirement strategies. We've talked about when and when not to take Social Security. I mentioned that. And, of course, this Medicare strategy and during open enrollment season is big, too. But, Richard, thank you for spending some time today. And I know we just barely even scratched the surface here, so people need that good 1 hour or so conversation with you to really dig down and see what's specific for them.
Correct.
Well, we were glad you spent the time, Richard. Everybody, thank you so much for listening to the Retirement Bullpen. If you know someone in your life that needs to hear about this, flip the link over to them. Make sure they know about it. Subscribe, turn on the notifications. And thanks, too, to our producer, Brandon Benefield, for getting this put out into cyberspace and making it available there. So for Richard Warner, I'm your co-host, Doug Turnbull. Thank you so much for listening to the Retirement Bullpen.
Insurance products are offered through the insurance business Warner Financial. Warner Financial is also an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. IPW does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by Warner Financial are not subject to investment advisor requirements. NPN number 7617022. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This podcast is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be considered as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual situation. Warner Financial is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Warner Financial.